Thank you to Uscreen for sponsoring this week's video. You can and will become a successful full-time content creator if you craft a business plan that's gonna work for you, your lifestyle, and your audience. And you don't need to wait until brands start reaching out to you or until your channel grows enough so that you can get monetized and start making money off of AdSense. There are strategies that you can implement right now that will have you well on your way to having a successful creator business. Essentially, the formula you need is this: an audience plus an offer plus consistent content that converts. All of that equals a profitable creator business. And don't worry, I'm gonna walk you through each of the steps of that formula so that you can use it to create a creator business plan that is gonna work for you and your content. So let's get into it. Welcome to my temporary set. I'm sure you noticed this looks different than the background of a lot of my videos. I'm currently staying in an Airbnb in Los Cabos in Mexico. If you've watched my channel for a while, you'll know that sometimes I live back at home in Canada in my apartment. Sometimes I'm traveling in my van. I did drive down to Mexico from Canada in my van, but currently I'm hosting friends and family at this Airbnb that we booked, and it's beautiful. It's been a lot of fun, and it's gonna make it very hard for me to move back in the van in a couple weeks. But for now, enjoy the beautiful background, enjoy the lack of sweat on my upper lip because it's so cool in here. And let's talk about building your creator business plan. Okay, so the very first step before we really dive into the formula that I just mentioned is I want you to do a bit of a mindset exercise with me. I want you to picture your 1,000,000 subscriber self. Here's the thing, a lot of creators come into this journey with a lot of emotional baggage around YouTube, or at least I did. Chances are, if you're watching my channel, if you're on your journey of growing on YouTube, then you've probably had a number of kicks at this can before. You've tried growing, and you probably have some biases or preconceived notions about what is required to be successful on YouTube and why or why not you haven't been already. Before I really started to grow my channel, I know I had these really ingrained beliefs about what kinds of content I would have to make in order to grow, what kind of person I would have to be. And the unfortunate thing is, when creators have these ideas, you end up crafting a growth strategy and a business plan for your YouTube channel that's going to be maybe not what you actually want to do, but it's what you think you need to do in order to be successful. So instead of crafting your business plan around what you think you need to do to be successful, what you've seen other creators do and have success with, or any of those other biases you might have, I want you to take it back to basics and really think about what will make you happy and what you want to create content about, what you want your job to look like when you make being a creator your job. Because if you just base all of your decisions off of what you think will make you successful, off of the latest stats in YouTube Studio, or off of what other creators who are blowing up right now are doing, you might end up kind of following a path to a place that you don't actually really enjoy. So let's make sure we build this business plan off of your kind of dream ideal scenario. So ask yourself, if I had 1,000,000 subscribers right now, like if I snapped my fingers and I had 1,000,000 subscribers on YouTube, I had a dedicated audience, what would I be making content about? How often would I be posting? What kind of connection would I have with my community? What other platforms might I be posting on regularly? Think about all those things, write down some notes about them so that you have that North Star, you know what you're working towards, because then we can create a plan that will actually get you there. Because the thing is, I can share my exact steps of how I got to where I am on YouTube. Other creators can do that as well, but following those steps will get you to where I am or where those other creators are, and that might not be the kind of business you want to have. So it's very important that you think about what you want that end goal to be, and then we can work backwards to create your path there. So maybe even take a quick second right now and let me know in the comment section what your 1,000,000 subscriber self looks like. What kind of content would you be creating if you had a giant audience that's dedicated to you already? What would your day-to-day life as a content creator look like? Let me know in the comments, write it down for yourself. And now we're gonna dive into the tangible steps. Step 1 is to choose an audience, not a niche. Okay, now that we have a healthy mindset in place, let's back it up and break down this formula. Any successful creator business is going to have an audience, an offer that they can sell to that audience, and consistent content that converts that audience into customers of the offer. So let's talk about the audience part. If you've been around a while, you've probably heard me talk about this before. A lot of creators at the beginning have this idea that you just need to pick a niche, pick a very specific subject matter, and just crank out searchable videos on the same topic over and over again. Eventually the algorithm will pick you up and you'll grow, yay. But we know that that type of strategy is often going to result in a more transactional relationship with your audience members. They come to you for info, they get it, they leave. So instead, you want to choose an audience to create for rather than just a subject or a niche. This is beneficial because not only will you have more creative freedom because you'll be able to talk about more topics as long as they're still relevant to your ideal audience, but you'll also build more of a true relationship with your audience. You'll have a relational audience rather than a transactional one because you speak to them on a different level, you tell a story, you cover different topics that they care about. It's not just like tutorial after tutorial. To really illustrate this, I want to talk about one of my favorite lifestyle creators because honestly, she was one of the people that I came across that I thought like, she doesn't really have a niche. How is she so successful? And that's what brought me around to this audience over niche strategy. So her name's Elena Tabor. She's a lifestyle creator that makes just like vibey content that I love to watch. And like I said, she doesn't necessarily have a niche, but she posts about travel. She posts apartment tours. She talks about personal finance. She talks about books. She even made this really cool series that was like almost like a mini documentary series about the lives of women who live in different countries around the Mediterranean. Very interesting stuff. Now, normally you wouldn't think of that stuff as fitting into a niche, and that's because it doesn't really. Instead, it is created for a certain type of audience. I can't say for sure that Elena does this intentionally. She probably doesn't. It's more just like this is all stuff that she is very interested and passionate about, and then other women like her are also interested and passionate about it. And so with her strong personal brand and her personality, she draws in an audience that is like women in their 20s and 30s who are interested in culture and fashion and travel and kind of living life more intentionally and thoughtfully. And so because her stuff is essentially curated for this one type of audience, she can create a lot of different stuff on different topics and it's still relevant to them and it still performs well. So I really think in the long term, when you're crafting this long-term creator business plan, it's much more sustainable to choose an audience rather than a niche. It's going to give you more creative flexibility. You're not going to get bored of your niche because you're going to have more topics that you can touch on and you're going to have an audience that's more connected with you. So as you're writing out that creator business plan, ask yourself these questions. What are the basic demographics of your audience? We're talking age, location, gender, the basic stuff. Then ask yourself, what are your audience members' biggest fears and goals and hopes? What are their concerns? What are their struggles? And specifically, you really want to write down what are your audience members' biggest problems that you might be able to solve. Step number 2, find an income stream that works for you. Now that we have a clear sense of who the audience is in our 3-part formula, now we're going to figure out what your offer might be. What is your revenue source going to be? There are lots of options. I've made videos before where I talk about the 6 income streams that I have, and there's more out there than that. But as much as I think it is helpful to diversify your income streams, like you want to balance it out so that things become a little bit more reliable and stable, at the very beginning, I would recommend focusing on just 1 or 2 and slowly expanding over time. That's what I did. I think if you try to like set up 6 all at once, it's going to be overwhelming and you might not put the requisite effort in to really see the results that you want. So start slow and steady and you can expand over time. Today I really wanted to focus on a couple of income streams that can work no matter what your audience size is, because we all know about brand deals, we all know about AdSense, but there are barriers to entry for that. Number 1 is digital products. Digital products can be a great starting point for a lot of creators because it's a lower barrier to entry. It's often a lower price point, so it doesn't feel as intimidating to start selling, let's say like a $15 ebook compared to like a $1,500 course or something like that. So we're talking ebooks, we're talking maybe like mini workshops or like a live webinar, templates, presets, that kind of thing. It's going to depend on your niche and your audience. One thing I would recommend is considering doing some beta testing with your new digital product. So there's several ways you can do this, but something you might try is, let's say you create an ebook and maybe you offer a discount to the first 10 people who buy it and then gather gather their feedback from it. You could even consider reaching out to your more dedicated audience members, like people that are always in your DMs on Instagram, sending them a copy for free, and then asking them for their feedback and maybe what was missing, what were their favorite parts, so that you can iterate on your original product and improve it. Another income stream you might want to consider is services. This is something that is not often talked about because I'll be honest, it's not as glamorous and scalable as digital products or some of these other kind of traditional content creator income streams. However, services is something that I have personally made a business out of. If you don't know, I have a small content creation agency called Creatorly Media. We do like YouTube video editing, Instagram strategy, all that type of thing. And that all started out from me personally offering services to clients as a way to make money before I was, doing brand deals and making money off of AdSense. Now, while services can be less scalable, it can be a way to make more money at the beginning because obviously this is going to be like a higher price point than say an ebook. So it can be a good way to generate revenue when you're just getting started. Maybe your services are like consultations or coaching, or maybe you have a more traditional service to offer like copywriting or graphic design or video editing. This is a great thing to start off with, especially when you have a smaller audience, because it's just going to be more manageable, and the stuff that you learn from your one-on-one offerings, you could eventually translate into a digital product. Okay, now let's talk about memberships, because I actually think memberships are like the perfect income stream for content creators in 2024. It's a recurring source of income that is going to be more reliable than your shifting digital product sales or even AdSense when your views fluctuate. And if you've been around my channel for a while, then you'll know I'm currently in the development of my very own membership, which I'm getting so excited to launch, and I am personally using Uscreen to put it together. As a creator, hosting a membership allows you to offer more value to your audience and generate revenue from it. I really believe that every creator can make this work no matter the niche or audience size. It doesn't have to be complicated because ultimately any membership is really simple. It's just exclusive content, a community, and a subscription. And if it feels overwhelming to you, don't worry, because the team at Uscreen is super helpful with getting everything set up. I have really appreciated their guidance throughout the process of getting my membership ready. Plus, they offer migration services if you already have a membership set up on a different website. Okay, so the team is really friendly, but ultimately I chose Uscreen because I believe that it's gonna offer the most premium experience for my members. There's gonna be a beautiful website, but also a custom app so you can take all of the content and the community with you in your pocket. And I just love that we're gonna have a community space for sharing advice with each other, sharing feedback, making friends. Lots of other successful creators are using Uscreen as well, like Yoga with Adrian and Jevin Dovey and Coffee Break's language learning platform. And you can do the same for your audience when you launch a membership with Uscreen. You can generate reliable, recurring income and provide more value to your audience with Uscreen. If you're ready to start your membership journey with Uscreen, they're actually offering free access to one of their creator workshop videos. Click on the link below to watch it now. Step 3, create a content calendar that drives traffic to your offer. Okay, so we've covered 2 parts of the content creator business plan formula. You've got the audience, you've got the offer. Now you need to create content consistently that is going to convert your audience into customers of your offer. Obviously, this content can be on any platform based on where you want to post and where you think your audience is, but I personally love YouTube, especially for creators who are getting started, and I want to tell you why. YouTube content is evergreen content. Yes, theoretically, you can make YouTube content that's timely and then becomes irrelevant after some big event happens or something like that, but usually YouTube content is evergreen because of the way that YouTube content is discovered. My light just died. Moving on. Even if your video doesn't do big numbers in the very first week that it's posted, your video will continue to be discovered via search or potentially through the recommendations algorithm. Unfortunately, this is not really the case for Reels or TikTok, which means at the beginning stages, all the effort that you put into Reels that maybe don't get that many views can feel a little bit wasted, whereas your YouTube videos, they always can be discovered in the future. Also, you can include links like super easily. You can put links in the description of your YouTube videos, which is a great way to then actually convert your audience from watching a YouTube video to buying a digital product. It's a little bit harder to get people to make the jump on Instagram and TikTok because you have to send them to a link in your bio. And finally, YouTube content is actually long enough that you can more reasonably promote your own offers. Like, you could take a full minute out of a YouTube video to do a little bit of a promotion for your coaching, your services, your membership, your digital product, and it wouldn't seem really weird because the YouTube video is probably like 10 minutes long. You couldn't do that in a reel because they're so short. The entire reel would need to basically be a promo for yourself, which you can do. But I find this combination of your YouTube videos being evergreen, discoverable in the future, you can include links, and it's reasonable for you to stop and like actually make a promotion during them. It's the perfect formula for being content that consistently converts. The point is, you need to remember to consistently talk about the stuff that you're selling. And I know that can be hard. The way I've started thinking about it, because honestly, like, you know, your girl is consistent with doing my brand deals. I'm gonna do those. I'm being paid to do it, obviously. But for my own stuff, it can be very easy for me to forget to mention the fact that I have my content creator starter kit or my Instagram roadmap course, or even the services that Creatorly offers, because there's no contract pushing me to do it, right? I should, because it's my business and it makes sense. But sometimes I just get so excited talking about whatever I'm talking about in these videos, I forget to promote myself. And I think that's probably a relatable struggle for a lot of you. So something that I've started doing is kind of assigning myself integrations. So I'll like tell myself like, okay, on the third video of the month, I need to promote my content creator starter kit. And I'll try to do like a mini integration for it so that I don't forget. So I want to encourage you to create a content calendar that obviously it's good stuff. You like making it, your audience is going to appreciate it, but make sure that you insert moments in that content calendar where you know you're going to promote your own offers. I'll be honest, this business plan is not a get rich quick scheme. This will take some time to build up, but if you have the essential components in place of an audience that you connect with, an offer that is valuable to them, and content that consistently reminds them about your offer, you will have a very strong business model. And chances are you already have some of these pieces in place. You maybe already have an audience that you are creating content for consistently, but you just need to create an offer that is going to solve their problems. Maybe you have an audience and an offer, but what you really need to do is remind yourself to actually promote that offer more often. Most likely, you are not that far away from having a really lucrative business model. You just need to make sure that you have all three components of that formula and that they're working together in harmony. Overall, I really believe in this business plan. It's worked for me, and I know it can work for you as well. If you think that YouTube might be a significant part of that content that you want to create for your audience, I want you to check out this video that I just released about the 7 things that I wish I knew when I first started my YouTube channel, because I think it might be helpful for you, and some of them might even surprise you. So make sure you check out that video next. As always, thank you so much for watching. I hope that you're having adventures and following your dreams, and I'll catch you in the next video. Bye.